I guess sitting here is, well, I don't know. This is called the Evil Eye Stone. We have, of course, a little story on it, too, and a very, very, very popular stone. But I did want to speak, if possible, on children. We get a lot of children that come in our store that think this is Disneyland, and they think that it's Toys R Us or something like that, and they can just run all over the store. But we do have signs on the walls and telling parents, please watch their children, because we do have an awful lot of very, very sharp things here. And we get people that come in and they'll just ignore the signs, and if the children come in and they're running around the store like crazy, we do go to the parents and ask them to please be very, very careful with them, because we don't want them to get cut or hurt. We've cut ourselves on the crystals before because they're very sharp, and we don't want the children to get cut and don't essentially want to be sued. But what happens, they always seem to ignore us because their children are perfect. The worst ones are the people that come in with what they call au pairs, which I guess are people that are supposed to take care of their kids, and usually there's more than one, two, sometimes three. And the children are running around like crazy, and they'll just tell the au pair, Maria, and it seems to always be Maria, well, you watch the children, and they're very arrogant about it, and we just shake our head. And on occasion, because children can be very destructive, and they're grabbing things and pulling things and pulling on the tables, and we're concerned about things falling on them more than anything else. If they break something, it breaks. But if something falls and hurts them, we don't want to be responsible, and we don't want to get them to get hurt otherwise. And there have been numerous times, yes, it's been numerous, that I've asked people, why don't you come back without your children? I think you'll be a little bit more comfortable. Well, I've never been able to say this to any single person without them getting mad at me. My children are perfect. My children don't cause problems. They're familiar with crystals. They won't do that. They won't, look at them. They're good. They're angels. And I tell them, I'm sorry, but if your children don't behave themselves, you'll have to leave. I'll have to leave. You can't do that to me. You can't force me. And then I'll say to them, well, now you do have to leave. You have to leave, because we don't tolerate that type of behavior here in the Native Spirit Lodge. We're not just a store. We feel we're a kiva. This is our home. This is our house. And we invite you as our honored guests to come into our store and to share it with you. But for some reason, when it's children involved, if you mention to the parents, watch their children, make sure that they don't get hurt, make sure they don't pull a shelf down on them. We have things like amethyst clusters and things that you can actually pull off a shelf, and if it falls on you, or even if you touch it, you can cut yourself. And we've got signs all over the place not to do it. But I remember back in the day when I was a kid, and that's a long time ago, that any older person that was in charge, if you'd be in a store misbehaving, people would say to you, where's your mother? Where's your father? And there always was a mother or father. And if they would go up and they'd say, your child is misbehaving, the parent would say, thank you, I'll take care of it right away. And they take them outside if they didn't behave themselves. I remember one time when I was real young, I was in church and misbehaving, and I remember this church to this day. It's back in New York. And my mother took me outside, and they had a very large porch out there, and we went outside. It was kind of a warm day, so they had the doors open, and she bent me over her lap and spanked the heck out of me and told me to behave myself, took me back inside, and I didn't even cry because I was told to behave myself. Now, I don't advocate that type of behavior towards children, and I don't think you really should hit them. But I do think that children should behave themselves, because these days in our permissive society, they're becoming adults, and you see a lot of adults that are walking around that thinks that everything is allowed to them because they were perfect, because when they were children, nobody ever told them no. Well, here at the Native Spirit Lodge, if they misbehave, we do tell them with courtesy and respect, no, and if the parents choose to get upset, that's their problem, because I'm not going to get upset about it. But we do invite them back without their children. I wish more businesses would feel that way, but no, they don't. Thank you.